Hello and welcome to the Get Creative Podcast, the podcast for creatives by creatives. I'm Evan Schmidt, and my guest today is Matthew Silberman. He's the founder of DeSoto, a picture and sound company based in Los Angeles, California. So what are we waiting for? Let's go for it. All right, so Matthew, what's the most important lesson you've learned?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many lessons, and I've worked in music, I've worked in film, but I'd say the biggest thing is just keep working hard and keep a clear vision of what you want to get to or what you want to accomplish. I think like as long as you have a really clear vision of what you're trying to do and you just keep working and take the necessary steps, I think you can really do anything. So, I mean, that's one big thing I've learned. You know, maybe in my 20s, I was a little more hesitant to push through certain obstacles. But, you know, the longer I've been as a musician, I guess just any kind of artistic endeavor, I think as long as you're willing to sacrifice, you know, sometimes your time or your sleep or your, you know, hanging out, but you're willing to put in that time and you know, you can hear or you can envision your end result of where you want to be as an artist. I think you can really get there if you're just, you know, keep your focus, keep your work ethic. And so for me, that's been a huge one. And then, I mean, I think also the other thing, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well, is just stay positive and stay friendly, you know, have a good energy about you. I mean, obviously things won't always go your way. You might get frustrated, flustered, annoyed, but I think having a good attitude, being someone that people want to keep working with and that, you know, people want to be around will take you really far in just the entertainment business in general. So definitely two small lessons I've learned over the years, but both seem to help and, you know, for what they're worth. So.
Yeah, and you're a full-time musician living in Los Angeles, which is a really tough market.
It is.
What was one of the breakthroughs you had where you finally caught traction?
Well, for me, I grew up in Los Angeles, so ever since high school, I've been, you know, I'd say I really got serious 8th grade or high school, and I switched to an arts high school, the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts, which was really great. I mean, I'd been going just to my local public school, which is cool, but all of a sudden being at a school where, you know, I could play music and they had 3 hours of your day that was just dedicated to that, and I started meeting a lot of musicians, started playing gigs, and it just kind of started taking off from there. I moved to New York for college. I went to the New School University, and I was there for 14 years, but I was always still in LA every few months and try to keep in touch with, you know, the musicians I came up with. And I'm not always the greatest at keeping in touch with people, but just because you get busy, you get focused on other things. But so when I moved back here, you know, it wasn't like jumping into an entirely new market or an entirely new city where you didn't know anyone. I had a really big network of people, you know, friends, colleagues that I'd met and worked with over the years. So the transition wasn't too tough, you know. And then I've done some sound design as well, in addition to, you know, music production, performance. So kind of broadened my spectrum a little bit, but it's been great. You know, I'm really happy I came back here, and I think LA is going through a kind of renaissance the last maybe 5 years or so, where I think it's really become more of a focus for the music world than it had been. I mean, it's always been a big part of the music world, but I think it's really taken off, and that enticed me even more to come back and you know, just come home, I suppose.
Oh, cool. So what are you working on right now?
So right now, as you mentioned, getting ready to launch a David Bowie tribute that I did with my friend Jessica Martins, who's singing, and she actually also made the music video. And I produced the track as a cover of The Man Who Sold the World, but we kind of took it in a different direction. She had the idea of, you know, what if The Man Who Sold the World was done more in the style of David Lynch than David Bowie? So kind of give it a bit of an Americana feel with sort of a surrealism or kind of a mystery to it. So I think we accomplished that, and that'll be on YouTube and Vimeo and all those great places, and you can check for it on blogs like The Joy of Violent Movement and Earful. That'll be January 10th, which is the anniversary of his death. And then on Valentine's Day, we're launching Allergic to Flowers, which is a short film that I made with DeSoto Picture Company, which is my visual production company. And we've done a few music videos as well. But this short film, it's a dark comedy about two 20-somethings who knew each other in high school. And now, just through freelance gigs, they're forced to deliver flowers together on Valentine's Day. And so that'll be coming out Valentine's Day, oddly enough. It'll be on YouTube and Vimeo. I think primarily on Vimeo, which is DeSoto Picture Company. That's our Vimeo channel. And, look for it as well on sites like Short of the Week and hopefully, more of those types of sites. But we're excited about it. We worked hard, and as you may know, making a film is a very different endeavor than music. A lot of moving parts, a lot of people involved. It's tricky. So it was a great learning experience, and, we're happy with it. It's a fun, short. I think everyone that watches it will enjoy it and, have a good 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah, and the trailer looks great. I checked that out today, so.
Yeah, it's a fun trailer. It's just a fun movie. It's nothing too crazy. Just, if you have a little bit of a twisted sense of humor and you've ever been in a relationship, I think you'll definitely like it.
Well, cool. Well, Matthew Silberman, thank you for your time today.
Evan, thank you so much for having me on, and continued success for you and your podcast. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
That's it for another episode of Get Creative. You can find more information about my guest in the show notes. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and Stitcher so that new episodes magically appear, and tell a friend about this show. For more information about me, just go to evanschmidt.com. Thank you for listening. Now go get creative.